Hello everyone, I'm Jamie and today I want to talk about some of the basic terminology when it comes to fishing gear, specifically rod and reel combos. So I'm going to go through the most common types of reels, really describe the different characteristics of rods, and ultimately provide you the information so when you go out shopping or looking for your first rod and reel combo purchase, you have the knowledge to do so and find the right rod and reel for you and your family. So let's get started. I want to talk first about the different types of reels that you're going to find. So the three common reels will be a push button reel, a spinning reel, as well as a bait caster. So I'm going to show those real quick. I'd say the most common would be the push button and the spinning reel. Now this is probably on the scale of ease of use. The push button is the easiest to use. This is great for beginners as well as youth. And how this works is you literally just push this button and that's what releases the bail and the line. So it's a very simple type mechanism there. So that is the push button reel. Next is the spinning reel. So like I said, these are very common as well. It's easy to use on that scale of ease of use. I'd say this is right there in the middle ground, but this is a very universal type reel. You'll actually see a lot of people hold the rod up like this. This specifically, this reel is actually below the rod when you're fishing, whereas your push button is going to be above the rod, so you would hold it like this. The last reel I want to talk about is a bait caster. This reel is actually probably the most complex out of the three I talked about. It's very common to use as well, but this is more for the advanced fishermen. You use this type of reel when you're using larger lures and really going after larger fish. But starting out, and definitely with kids as well, I would stay or shy away from the bait caster until you really get into fishing and really learn how to use this, because this is more complex, but like everything, it has its purpose and definitely has a lot of great features. Now, most fishing rods and fishing reels come together as a combo. I strongly suggest for your first fishing rod to really look for these combos. They're very universal. Getting a reel and a rod itself together and all in one is a great package. So definitely I'd be on the lookout for looking for more for a combo package where it's a rod and reel package. So next I want to talk about the attributes or characteristics of fishing rods and really what's important for you to determine, okay, what rod do I really need? So you can get very technical with this type of stuff. So I want to stay high level and just really talk about the things that you're going to see on the rod itself. So the main characteristics of a rod are going to be the length of the rod, whether it's a one-piece rod or two-piece rod or four-piece rod. So how many pieces that rod is, as well as the action and power of the rod. So when I say action and power, let's dive in a little bit and really determine what that means. Power itself, so the power of a rod relates to how stiff that rod is, almost like the backbone of that rod. And the stiffness of the rod or the power of the rod ranges from ultralight all the way up to heavy. The other attribute you'll see within a rod is the action of the rod. And action, think of really how much that rod bends. And obviously just thinking of that, how much that rod bends versus or in comparison to the strength or stiffness of the rod itself, both are going to relate to one another. So action ranges from slow to fast. Now that sounds great, but what does that mean? Like, what is important? In my opinion, I like versatility. I like middle ground. So a medium power and medium action is something that I would look for. When you start to get into bigger lures, really catching bigger fish, you're going to be looking at that heavy power and fast action. So when you're picking up a rod and reel combo that you're interested in purchasing, how do you know these characteristics of the rod? Well, pretty consistently within fishing assortments, you're going to see labeling specifically on this rod towards the reel. So the rod itself, or you can call it almost the shaft, is the blank of the rod, and on the blank close to the reel is going to have labeling. So for instance, this rod and reel combo says the length is 6 foot 6 inches, so the full length of this rod is 6 foot 6 inches. The action of this rod is a medium action, and the line rating is 6 to 12 pounds. So line rating is also another factor that can help you determine the stiffness or the power of this rod and the action or how much this rod will bend. So 6 to 12 pounds, that's a pretty versatile range. Normally I have 6-pound line on my rods and reels. When you start to get into bigger fish or throwing bigger lures, that's when you start to get into that 8-10 pound line. So because this is a 6 to 12 pound rod, this is pretty versatile. So not all rods and reels are going to have the same type of information on the labeling within the blank, but consistently you will see the length of the rod, the action or the power of the rod, as well as the line weight and sometimes even a lure weight. So this one specifically says this is a 5'6" rod, medium light. So that's the power of the rod, is medium light. Line is from 6 to 10 pounds, and this also has a lure weight as well. So that type of information tells you how much really this rod can handle. This overall is a very versatile rod as well. So I suggest looking into getting more of that medium type power and medium type actions. That way you can fish really all around anything. Now those are the basic features and information that will help you when purchasing your first rod and reel combo. Again, if you're looking to purchase one for your kids or you're a beginner, stick with a push button type reel. If you're kind of that middle ground, definitely a spinning reel works well too. And looking at the rod itself, definitely go in that range where it's a 2-piece rod, and stick with universal versatility, right? So that is a medium power, medium action, and overall you're able to use that rod and reel combo for a majority of your fishing. Now don't forget to make sure you have the right fishing licenses for your area, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I can help you with that. And any other questions when it comes to determining what gear you need for your first fishing adventure, please reach out. My goal is ultimately to help you get out there. For more educational content, subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Check out more information, including blog posts and product recommendations, at solitudeboulevard.com.